Of the media, our brothers and sisters from the industry, welcome to this momentous occasion. This is the golden launch of the Global Gold Monetary Funds Philippines. I am Marvy Atienza, your host and press conference moderator, and I am deeply honored to stand before you today as we gather to launch the Golden Gold Monetary Fund, or GGMF, and unveil its mission, which is nothing short of extraordinary. I met these friends of ours from GGMF just a few weeks ago, and I must say I'm truly amazed, and it's something really to be excited about. It's a day of great significance as we embark on a journey to usher in a return to gold as a form of currency. At the heart of our mission lies a profound commitment to serve as faithful stewards of God's precious gold resources. And to
what we're going to be presenting about is a very unusual event. 10 years ago today doing what I'm doing. But as you will hear here today, this is not an event that you plan on your own behalf. You are called to a mission, and this is simple. I have said, send me, and here I am today. So I stand here not in my own behalf. Today is that we have a blind leading the blind. Nobody knows what the answers are. It's all a patchwork of attempted solutions which have absolutely no meaning. And therefore, there is a need for a new system that will eradicate what has been done wrong and hopefully bring something which comes back under God's blessing. We have walked and strayed so far away from what God intended, but it is time, I believe, for us to come back together and to actually acknowledge that God is above all of us, and He has a purpose for our lives, and His purpose is for blessing, not for curse. And therefore, this is to this cause I dedicate this event, and my prayer is that each of you who's going to be writing about this, this is the beginning of the movement. This is not something human. This is something of God. It's about you now taking whatever part you can play into this and actually propagating it and doing what you need to do and what God is calling each one of you to do. This is between you and Him. And so to that end, I pray that you will be led, you will be guided, and you will be blessed in what you do. We welcome you to this movement that begins today, here in this room.
thank you very much, Elaine. I may invite you to sit down and relax. And ladies and gentlemen, as we move on, okay, you have your microphone there, that's yours. That's your note. I lost mine. There you go. Okay. Okay. Now, siguro may idea na kayo na bakit yun nakilala ko si Elaine at yung kanyang mga friends. Talaga na-amaze ako, na-excite ako. A little bit scared because sabi nga, parang our financial systems, it's not a battle of human. It's a battle of principalities. At ngayon, mukhang it's about time that it's called upon that God has to intervene. And as Elena said, you are here by divine appointment. It's not by accident that you are here. Well, the Lord wants you to be here. Again, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to move on and open the floor for questions that may be addressed by Elaine here, and also some insights that you may want to share. I will be your moderator and I will be guiding our discussions today. At this point, I will be sharing some guidelines before we drive or we delve into the enriching discourse that lies ahead. And these are just reminders para hindi po tayo, kasi mabuti maayos yung traffic natin, no? Baka sabihin nila, matraffic na sa labas, matraffic pa rito. Dito MMDA muna ako. Firstly, I'd like to draw our attention to the strategically placed we don't have placed microphones here, but I think, sino ba magpapass direct ng mga microphones pag may questions sila? Nandyan?
Ako na lang po.
Si Direk na mismo, si Direk Allen, alright? We will pass on the microphone. Secondly, when posing questions, just raise your hand and I will recognize you. When acknowledged, please state your name and your media organization and kindly direct your questions to Elaine, and we value your insights and would appreciate that you keep it short. Our first question for Elaine. First of all, welcome back to Manila.
Thank you.
This is how many times have you been in Manila?
Well, a few times, but more recently for a number of weeks.
Is that mic working? Parang mahina. You want to use mine?
Can you hear me?
No.
No?
Use this. Okay. Can you hear me? Yes. My mic is working.
That's maybe your voice.
It's that.
Let's get closer to the mic.
So you've been in Manila for how many times now?
I've been here several times, but I've been here now for about a month. Planning, preparing, organizing.
Your longest stay so far.
Yes.
And originally you're from?
I'm born on a small island called Mauritius, but my family is French, but I've lived in America for 40 years.
All right. And looking forward to you being Filipino as well.
I would be delighted.
All right. Wonderful. Okay, our first icebreaker question for Elaine. Could you provide us some background on the inception? How did it all begin? The Global Gold Monetary Fund, or GGMF. What inspired the establishment of this organization, and how has it evolved to address the changing and dynamic financial landscape?
First of all, you use one word which should not be. You mentioned organization. It is not an organization. It is a movement.
Movement.
It's a movement. The reason I say this is because this is not the project of one organization. This has got to be a worldwide project where everybody that buys into a vision becomes a part of the vision. And so this is a movement. This is very critical. Our vision started, first of all, I am one of those scenes. That's a very special gift which I value, and it has really helped me greatly. But also, with it came a big responsibility. What do I do? I'm a simple human being like everybody else. This is a bigger problem than one human being. And so the question was, how do we make a change in the world that will impact the world and bring hope? The world is hopeless today. People are hopeless everywhere. There is a need for hope. God says, without hope, we perish. And so the idea was, how do we restore that? And what has happened is, over a period of about, I would say, the last 15 years, first of all, it began with an individual testing where every one of us was tested, God tested us, but then gradually over time, what I began to understand is I would meet one person, and I realized that that person got the same test, and they have the same vision, and they have the same understanding. And so 2 will become 4, and 4 will become a bigger pie. And what has happened is that we ended up with a group of about 39, not about, but exactly 39 people.
From different parts of the
From
world.
different parts of the world, 14.
And you didn't know each other.
We did not know each other before.
Would you say this is by divine assignment?
Absolutely by divine doing. There's no way you can put a group that has the expertise, the knowledge, the understanding, the power, the ability to deliver, and each one of them has a different contribution to the whole. And so what happened is that we ended up with a very cohesive group of 39. We called it God and the 39.
The what of 39? Guardians?
And I'm probably one of them.
Ah, okay. All right.
It did not come together until about maybe 2 years ago when everything all of a sudden gelled and we realized that this was a moment. We've been waiting for a very long time for when do we start? And we've been asking God, Lord, we're ready. When? And the question of when was finally answered about 3 weeks ago, September 11. Strength from the Lord. I won't go into details on that, but we're here today by a design of God on a specific date, because this is the day when everything begins to turn around.
Well, let me pick on, Alan, the relevance and importance of all this. In today's volatile financial climate, gold, you talk about gold, and gold has often been regarded as a safe haven asset. But you know, we're in the 21st century, and hardly anybody trades with gold. But that's basically the essence of what we're talking about here. How does it actively contribute to stability and security in the financial sector? How does GGMF intend to navigate and capitalize on the dynamic challenges and opportunities of the current economic environment using gold?
It's a process, and the process is that we need to first of all take what is a physical asset and convert it into units of gold, okay, that are then usable as money. This is done through a two-stage process. First of all, there is a gold certificate that is issued. That gold certificate is then fractionalized and then distributed in the form of units that you can use to go and buy a cup of coffee. Okay. But the process of doing that is a highly complex process, and what we have done is we have established one trust for each of 249 nations around the world. And there is an allocation of gold certificates that are given to each one of those trusts. And for each country, we're fractionalizing and issuing a gold unit for that particular country. So the Philippines will have, in effect, a gold unit assigned to the Philippines that would then be exchangeable on a global basis. So all 249 countries are interconnected. And so what you have is actually a system where you're going to be able to use one gold unit here in the Philippines to go and buy a cup of coffee here in the Philippines, but you can take that same gold unit and you can go to Thailand or to China or to America or wherever. That same gold unit will be available to you to use in that country based on an exchange rate that we've established between all the different units between different countries. We have a platform with 64,000 exchange rates.
And the exchange rate would be uniform worldwide?
When you say exchange rate, no, there is a specific set exchange rate, but it will be valid for 50 years. It will not change for 50 years. It will be the same unit of gold, the same exchange rate. Everything is stable for 50 years. No movement.
Wow. Yeah. That's kind of medyo mind-blowing. We're looking at trading, hindi na pera-pera, no? We're talking about gold, actual gold. Hindi to symbolic gold, hindi paper gold. This is real gold. And the movement has always advocated that is the will of God. So medyo, it's kind of different from conventional thinking. But as Albert Einstein said, when we do the same things all over again, do not expect new results. And at this present setup, the world needs new results.
If I can add one thing that I would like to add. The Bible says, God says in the Bible, the gold is mine. It's the gold and the silver, it is the only place in Scripture where God says, out of all the resources I gave you, that is mine. The gold.
He owns it.
Mine. He owns it. And so when you understand that principle, you understand that we cannot do what we're doing today unless we have His permission. So His permission is absolutely of paramount importance. His blessing is of paramount importance. And it's about the restoration of what God has purposed.
Okay, somebody sent this in. Alain, what is the difference between GGMF, gold units, and stable coin? Is that right?
Stable coins?
Stable coins?
Stable coins derives its value from a link to a fiat currency. Do you know what a fiat currency is? You will see this in some of the interviews. I give a lot of explanation about that. A fiat currency is money created out of thin air. It has absolutely no basis behind it. It's only based on the good faith and the credit of the issuer. Mm-hmm. And so what a stable coin, in effect today, is a coin that is based on the value of a currency that is a fiat currency, which is a debt instrument, and therefore its value is attached to the currency. So if the currency goes up and down, it will have a problem. Now you could also attach a stable coin to gold, to the definition of gold units. And our objective is to empower everybody. So if somebody tomorrow wants to do a stable coin based on our units of gold, we would welcome them, because they would be able to do that and actually have stability to their product.
Okay. Yeah. So that means yung pera, as we know, money as we know it today, the value is only designated by men. Like, for example, legislation would say, oh, that's the value of the dollar, that's the value of the peso, and that's it. It's not founded on real, tangible value, in contrast to gold. Gold has its innate value.
Correct.
And you said gold, God said that gold is mine, so He owns it.
Correct.
Wow. Di ba? Parang, wow. Okay, ipulin muna natin yung thoughts natin. I know this is something staggering for some of us, but we'd like to know more about this. This is something that's going to change the world. Ika nga. But before that, Alain, I'd like you to meet our friends from the media who are joining us today. A lot of them are members of the United Print Media Group, of which I am currently president. Tulong. Adaro. From Manila, the lovely Patricia Nietes. From Daily Tribune, Mr. Rafi Ayeng. Rafi. From the Manila Times, the oldest newspaper in the country, is Miss Gemma Cuenca. Now, she's not the oldest in the group, though. Only her paper. Okay, and then from Manila Standard, Peter Duran. Good morning, Peter. And again, another lovely lady. Lahat naman ladies lovely, no? Pero ito sinumisip-sip lang ako dahil parang nahihingin ako rito. Fardo. From Abante, Mia Billones. Thank you for joining us, Mia. And then for Philippine Star, Brian. Nandiyan pala si Brian Escueta. Nakataligid ka sa akin eh. Alright, galing kumanta niyan. Mamaya, pakantayin natin. Wala lang talent fee. From Freeman, Dem De Jesus. Hi, Dem. We also have our friends from the TV networks, Net25. Magandang umaga po sa inyo. At ang ating mga kapatid mula sa government station, a government-owned corporation, ang PTV4, People's Television. Good morning, good morning. Okay. Sige.
Nations, particularly the Philippines, to accede to the goal of making gold the prevailing currency, and given the presence of Bitcoin as a modern.
We have absolutely nothing to do with the cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
We're returning to banking as a service, as opposed to a cryptocurrency. So we have absolutely no link whatsoever with the cryptocurrency. It is doable that you could actually create a cryptocurrency that is backed by gold, but they'd have to attach their crypto to our units of gold. We do not attach our units to cryptos. Cryptocurrencies are very dangerous because it's all created out of thin air again. I mean, the entire currency system of the world is created out of thin air. Created by demand as opposed to created by tangible asset. Okay? And so the risks of that are very, very significant, as you know. Lots of people have lost a lot of money. Crypto is a very dangerous asset, in my opinion. I don't have a single crypto because I don't believe it's a legitimate currency. There are speculators that will make a lot of money out of it, but there are also people that will lose a lot of money out of it. And this is not what God wants. God does not want us to be making money on something which He wants to provide to us as a medium of exchange. That means that if you make shoes and I need shoes and I cook meals and you need the meal, we can exchange freely between us. That is God-given. That's something of God. And the issue is that people are trying to come up with a lot of the systems and the concepts and the cryptos and all of the different concepts in order to create something which will benefit them, as opposed to benefiting the world. Our job is to, how do we benefit the world, not individuals?
Not profit.
That's the goal.
Yeah, not profit.
Not profit.
Okay, I think Rafi was touching on, like, you're getting into the Philippines to introduce the concept. It's different, non-conventional. Maybe we could talk about membership guidelines, and then also what are the benefits. For example, in the Philippines, if we embrace the system of gold as an exchange, medium of exchange, how does it benefit the Philippines, and how does the Philippines enlist? Is it the government that says, okay, we'll join the GGMF?
First of all, our organization, our movement, is open to any government in the world that decides to join. Okay? So it's about inviting participants. It can be a government, can be a city, could be any entity, a government entity, private or public, that wishes to attach itself to gold as a unit. And we would then, let's take the case of the Philippines, for instance. Yeah. The very first thing that would happen is there would be an issuance of gold units for the Philippines, sufficient to do several things. Number one, repay entirely all the foreign debts in fiat currencies. All. In one day. Capital.
All 14 trillion
wiped out. One day. Second thing is 15% of whatever units we create would that be allocated to the government for the government's projects, for infrastructure, for whatever the government's needs.
Like taxes.
Pardon?
Similar to taxes.
It's not a tax.
Oh yeah.
We don't believe in that.
But they use that as a fund.
Gift.
Yeah, okay.
From God to the nation.
Okay.
That's very important. So the idea here is to be a blessing to the nation, to liberate the nation from this concept that we have somehow a debt instrument that continually grows, continually compounds, continually creates more money and more debt and more indenturing of people. So we want to liberate the country from that. And we will be using the banks. We will be working with the banks. We're not against the banks. In fact, we're supporting the banks. We want the banks to participate in our process and to convert fiat currencies into gold units. And so that entire process is what we have architected, what we've engineered, and we're ready to deliver the solutions.
Sir, C in implementing the goal. What are the problems, the roadblocks that you have to endure with this
sorry,
in implementing?
It's a bit loud. I'm having trouble hearing.
Rafi's asking, what do you foresee as the system?
Major. Okay? That's all I can tell you. It's not with delight that I stand here by myself to introduce this, because I will come under attack, but I'm not afraid. There will be a lot of stumbling blocks. There will be a lot of people trying to stop it. But this is a movement that begins today that God has ordained. There's nobody that can stop that. Okay? So the stumbling blocks are going to be of numerous nature. There will be attacks to discredit, attacks to make, to devalue the effort.
And Radio Filipino, which is based here in Intramuros. So my question is, how does GGMF affect our countries, our government, corporations, and particularly the mine industry?
You say affect.
Yeah.
Is the key word.
Yeah.
In a significant way. Let's an exchange rate that fluctuates. You have currency rates that fluctuate. You have that. this will bring stability for the next 50 years. Why 50 years? Because that's the year of Jubilee in the scripture. Much greater stability in the current financial system. You will have a productivity that will increase, upon which you can build a new nation, in effect. And that's our hope. The Philippines stands to benefit greatly from this. There's a reason why we're here in the Philippines, to run for the Philippines, because what we're doing here today could never be done by a major country such as the US or China or Russia or whoever they are. Because it can only come, God only uses what is, it's a worldwide asset. It's distributed around the world, so any nation that has gold, we would have the ability to take their gold, the reserves that God makes available to us. That's already done. This is not a maybe, this is in the future, this is already done. The doors to
business insight.
Okay.
I have 3 questions for you, sir.
Yes.
How do you think this new currency system aim to promote financial inclusion among Filipinos?
Can you repeat?
Financial.
How do you think this entirely new monetary system will ensure financial inclusions among Filipinos, sir?
Good question. Thank you. Go back and explain what happened in Europe when they attempted to create a new currency, the euro. They were attempting to merge currencies like from Italy, France, Holland, Belgium, and so on into a single currency. Every one of them had a different currency, and therefore we had to attach that to a single currency. It was a very major process. I was in France at the time. I can tell you that every single item on every single shelf had to have 2 prices. A price in French franc, a price in euro. And it was 5 years of major media advertising to get people to change their thinking process in terms of what the value of a gallon of milk is, or some toothpastes and so on. Our approach is different. Our approach is the complexities must not be with the people, the complexities must be in our system. And therefore what we have done is we have created a system where here in the Philippines, 1 unit of gold that we create will be worth 1 peso. Okay? Which means that if you know that a gallon of milk is worth 150 pesos, whatever it is 150 units of gold. But when you go to America, the same 1 gallon of gold, 1 gallon of milk is worth $3.50, let's say. So it's 3 units and 50 cents in America. But there's an exchange rate between the American gold unit and the Filipino gold unit. But that you won't even see behind the scenes because that operates very, very quietly. Second part of your question is how does it inclusion? We believe that every single individual is a sovereign, a child of God, created in God's image. And therefore he has worth. His worth is intrinsic, just like gold. He's a child of God, created by God for a purpose, given gifts and talents and abilities, just like everybody else. There is nobody greater than the other. We're all humans. And therefore, we based the whole concept of GGMF on the concept of a sovereignty of individuals, not of sovereignty of states and so on, but more on the sovereignty of the individuals. Therefore, every individual is entitled to an account in gold units. So that process is very fundamental. Any country that would join GGMF will have to acknowledge, we've already said, you can have a copy, you can read the charter of GGMF. It's an Articles of Agreement, it's a 75-page document that every country that would join will need to accept and adopt as governing their membership. And that very clearly identifies the inclusion part of it, where everybody must be included.
Sir, good afternoon. My name is Bernadette Punzalan from Chinese Commercial News. Sir, my question is, sir, your vision and mission in the next 3 years in the Philippines?
Is what?
The mission and vision.
What is our mission in the Philippines?
vision and mission in the next 3 years here in the Philippines?
We're providing a mechanism we're like a catalyst that will make things happen. That's all we are. We're not doing anything we don't own anything, we don't control anything, we're simply providing a way to make things happen, and then it will be the local population, the local governments, the cities, the mayors, whatever, to actually take the ball and they'll run with it. Okay. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Morning, I'm Gemma from the Manila Times. As Sir Barbie said, we're the oldest newspaper, but I'm not true. You mentioned, sir, a while ago that you will be working with the banks, but it was never clarified how the bank will work with you. And with the existing system that we're using, the legal tender, the existing money as a legal tender, how
will the banks work with us?
Yes, and the existing laws that we have for the legal tender, will all this be changed?
No. We've spent a lot of time thinking about it. You can imagine that 39 of us spent a lot of time thinking about all these questions. And how do we include everybody, including the banks? You would have the ability to convert your existing bank accounts into gold units, simply by you instructing the bank to do that. And by the way, we've already built into our technology a 3% payment to the banks. So they will receive a 3% fee for transferring from your account, from the fiat currency to the gold units. So governments get 15%, the banks get 3%. They are part of the process. They're not excluded from the process.
Meaning, sir, we have to have a new laws for that. Like for Central Bank of the Philippines have an existing law when it comes to legal tender. Meaning with this new system, gold as a legal tender, meaning we have to add additional law or change laws?
Well, there are ways to do that. It's a very good question. I have looked at the issue of legal tender laws personally. In fact, if you Google and you see an article from Mises Institute, I'm the writer, and you will see that I have addressed this issue of legal tender. Our articles of agreement actually require that the government would actually make the gold unit legal tender for them to join. They cannot join unless they make it legal tender. Now, it will take a little bit of time. They may have to pass laws, they may have to adjust laws, they may have to do whatever it is, but that is a requirement. Now, the other thing that I can tell you is we've not only studied the laws here. I'm very familiar, for instance, with the law. For instance, I'll give you some examples. Law 11954. We've studied it, we understand it, we know what's going on. We've looked at the NCIP, we've looked at a number of things, and I can tell you that it's not a big deal to transfer and to make this a legal tender currency. Now, you have to understand this, that the moment that you have a legal tender currency here in the Philippines that is gold-backed, it will be global. Okay? It will go like wildfire. And we've studied behind the scenes how this would actually happen. I'll give you an example. In the United States, they don't need to change a single law in 7 American states to adopt your currency. That includes Texas, Oklahoma, Alabama, Tennessee, Florida, Alaska, and so on. And your currency would be immediately legal tender over there, because the laws are already on the books. Read that article and you will understand. So
I don't know if I got it right, that you are transacting with 249 countries right now. May we know the status of those negotiations?
there are 249 trusts. All done. Now, whether they join or not is irrelevant. We have created the trust. We have taken the steps to do that and to bless them. it's up to them, whether they join or not.
Yeah.
Measure the gold reserve of one country for them to become a member?
We don't require them to bring anything to the table. Remember, gold is God's. It doesn't belong to them, even if they have it. They only possess it, they don't own it. So if God blesses it and God allocates it, we can use it. It's done. Okay?
Good morning, sir. I'm Brian Esquet of the Philippine Star. May I ask?
Speak a little, it's resonates too much
Okay,
here.
pardon. Okay.
Not too close, Brian.
All right. So have the GGMF already secured gold bullion legally that will allow it to start issuing the gold units to kick off this process
Yes.
globally?
Yes, we have it. It's already here. You will see in the material and the interviews that you have access to that we already have a goal. It's not a future, it's now. We have it. We have more gold than what is claimed to be the total gold volume collected since the beginning of times. We have it. The doors are open.
Okay, sir. A follow-up question, sir. In terms of convenience and practical applications, we're talking about physical gold, right? So, what if the ordinary man, how will the ordinary man use this in his day-to-day transactions? Let's say you're gonna ride a jeepney. So how will you pay?
Speak a little slower.
I'm sorry. Yeah, one man use the gold units. Like, let's say the Filipino will just travel.
Good idea. Good point. Good question. If we gave you today a debit card, for instance, or a prepaid card, and you can actually go and buy a cup of coffee, well, that's exactly what will happen. You will have your own wallet. You will have your own technology system that will deliver the process to you. We are also developing, and that's going to come in maybe a second stage.
Yeah.
A little gold, your own gold vault that will be working in tandem with your phone. So you own the gold, you will have a gold. So there are various technologies that we're going to unleash, but it will begin, practically speaking, with a debit card or a prepaid card that is loaded and that can be reloaded at any time, and you can use it worldwide.
Yeah.
But behind it, it's not a currency. That same card will be usable in 249 countries, because we are settling not in a foreign currency, not in a fiat currency, we're settling in gold units.
Okay. So the medium of exchange is still the same.
Yep.
Banks and G-cashes.
We don't change anything.
Right.
We simply integrate seamlessly into what's already there.
Yeah. But the value is backed by tangible, real gold.
Correct.
Instead of, kasi right now, the currencies are only laway-laway lang. Diba? They say that's the value of that, that's it. But this is not the case with the gold monetary fund.
Yes.
All right. Any more questions? Okay, let me just field one more question here, Ellen. For GGMF in the Philippines, now that we're having this launch, after this, what are the next steps for the short term and the long term? What are your plans to get it going in the country?
In the Philippines.
In the Philippines.
What I hope is that this will spark certain communications with all stakeholders that have an interest, and that they will reveal themselves, and then we'll know what to do, and we'll begin the plans, irrespective of what the Philippines does. We're moving forward. Okay? Our hope is the Philippines be number one behind this. So we will see what happens.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So this is between now and the beginning of the year. We have this time frame to prepare.
Wonderful. These are exciting times indeed, and let's, you know what I'd like to do is carry out the excitement even forward as we collectively shape the golden destiny of Global Gold Monetary Fund. The future is brimming with potential, and we're all part of this extraordinary journey. So please, ladies and gentlemen, stay excited, stay engaged, and stay tuned for the remarkable transformation that lie ahead. Change is coming Somebody said that before, right? We had this interview with Elaine one-on-one a couple of weeks back. And this video tells you all about the vision, mission, what lies ahead with global gold, global gold monetary fund. As a matter of fact, this whole thing was done smoothly with take ones all over, except for the last part, where I would buckle with the global gold monetary fund. So know more about it. It's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be available. And these exciting things that are happening, the journey doesn't end today. It's going to be an adventure, an ongoing adventure with the latest updates and golden opportunities that await you on GGMF's official website and social media accounts. Everything, they're all in the press kit, so please check it out, visit it, stay in the loop, stay engaged, and be a part of this incredible movement, this journey. Visit the website at www.globalgoldmf.com. And also follow us on social media to stay updated on the latest developments. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Also connect at Global Gold MF. To learn more about GGMF's history, vision and mission, I said that, and membership agreement guidelines. And you can scan, we have our Q code that we flashed here earlier on the screen. So let's put that back. So for more information and details, check out that QR code. All right? Elaine, do you have anything else to say to our friends? Thank them for being here.
I really appreciate your being here today. Thank you very much for your participation. It only takes a spark to set a forest on fire. So I pray that each one of you would be that spark, and that let's set a forest on fire for something positive for once that will change the world and restore hope.
Merci, Monsieur Alain Moult. Give him another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And exciting times ahead, friends from the media family in the Philippines. As we conclude today's remarkable journey, we wish to extend our heartfelt gratitude for sharing this golden moment with us.